back to Lex Reads. So in today's video, I wanted to do my thoughts and reactions on I believe it was like 5 or 6 urban fiction slash romance books that I wanted to read. I told you guys I would read them slash listen to them, well, mainly listen to them because they're all audiobooks, and come back with my thoughts. I did this a couple of months ago and I really did enjoy it. And I'm like, you know what? I want to do it again because I had like a kick for some urban romance slash urban fiction. Now it's straight to like romance books, but yeah. So let's just get started. Okay. So like I said, I was supposed to listen to 5. I listened to 3, and 2 of them I just was like, I don't want to read them. Because you guys remember in that video, I said I didn't want to read something, I didn't want to listen to something that was very long, like 9 hours. And I wanted something like, boy meets girl, simple, not like, the typical pushing weight and the guns and the killing and all that. I didn't want that. My nerves. I wanted something really, kind of short and cute. And it went downhill. So that's why I didn't read those 2 books, but I'll tell you guys those that I didn't listen to. Okay, so the first was Them Boys series by Alexandria House. You guys know how much I love Alexandria House. She is like my favorite, I would say, romance novelist. I love her writing. Oh my goodness, so much. I love the way she writes male characters because she makes them like sensitive, but at the same time, like they have the right amount of control where it's like, okay, baby, I got you. I'll, kind of listen to what you say, but not like no Ike Turner kind of control. You know what I mean? She is a win in my book. So I wanted to finish that series because I listened to the first book and really did like them. So Them Boys are about 3 brothers. You have Set, Ja, and Shu. Like I said, I had already listened to Set's story and I needed to listen to Ja and Shu's story. Now, out of the series, I would say my favorite is probably Ja, which is the second book in the series. And these are novellas, and these were about like 2 hours and some change. And these boys, the Mitchell boys, that's their last name, they grew up like, ooh, very dysfunctional. They had a father that would like wake them up in the middle of the night and make them like, fight him, and would make them what did one of the boys say? Oh, his dad would wake him up in the middle of the night to take all the dishes out of the cabinet and wash them. He would beat them. I mean, he was just horrible, but treated the mama like gold. So because of that, like those boys, their minds were kind of messed up. So in Ja's, situation, he couldn't sleep because you never knew, what his daddy was gonna come and maybe snatch him out of the bed and start beating him. So he would always like clean at night in order for him to fall asleep. With Shu, he was kind of the same way. They had problems sleeping, basically. With these women coming in their lives, they really do alter them in a great way. With Ja's story, I really did like Trish. That was his girl. Trish is a woman that she's kind of doesn't have that much confidence because she thinks because she's like a big girl where no one's gonna really want to be with her, and she's in this relationship now where her man, he like cheats and everything, and she knows that. So in comes Ja, and yeah, a lot of things happen. Okay, now are these are erotica to me. Okay, they do have obviously some romance, aspects, but I mean these straight erotica because the stuff that they be doing and saying, it's like, oh my gosh. Okay, it gives you Zane vibes, but it's really, really good. And the last story that I listened to was Shu's story, and he is the middle child, and he starts kicking it with a girl named Denver because Denver is a CNA. She's been taking care of their dad. Their dad is like in a nursing home, and although he doesn't want to like visit his dad, for some reason it's just he got a really good heart. So he like, you know what? I guess I'll just see the man or whatever. He literally just sits there, but he starts really liking Denver, and she got a little past, some little stuff happened in her life. I don't want to give it away if you guys haven't read it because it was like, oh, okay. It's a tiny bit of trauma, but the way she wrote it, it was like, she talked about it and then that was it. So you weren't just listening to, a whole bunch of trauma. Out of the three books, I really do like the second book. Okay. Second was Crushing on a Savage by Danielle May. You guys, this, I could not figure out what this was about when I did my March wrap up. As you guys saw, I could not tell y'all what it was about, which is a sign that it was not memorable and it was not good. The reason why I couldn't get down with this book, I listened to it, but the audio, they had that, what is it? It's called digital audio. Just sounds like Siri narrating the book. That killed the whole story. Okay, like for me, I know if I'm listening to the book and if the narrating is horrible, it's like it's like my thoughts are just out of the window because I can't concentrate. But that's what messed me up with this one. Also, the main character, the guy, now he was a Ike Turner, okay, in some aspects, because okay, let me tell you what the premise was. So you have a very shy girl named Alana. She's best friends with a girl named Gia. They grew up together, and Gia has a brother named Christopher. Lane has always liked Christopher, and like he kind of pays her no mind. Basically, he's like, "Oh, that's my little sister's, friend, best friend." Years go by, they all grown, and they start basically, talking to each other. Now, she's very, very shy. It's came out of a bad relationship, and he is like extremely cocky. He think he got it going on and everything. What I didn't like about him was, like I told y'all before with Alexandria House, like her male characters, like they have that a right amount of control where it's not, where it's not so harsh. Like the stuff he was talking and saying, I'm like, bruh, you talking to basically. That don't turn me on at all. Okay. Don't talk rough to me now. I don't like that. So in conjunction with his little personality and the narrating was not good to me. All right, the next book I listened to was On Chill with a Billionaire by Black Lavish. And this was okay. Again, what messed me up was their narrating because it was that digital audio. Now I know when it says that, I'm not listening to it. I'm just have to maybe get the book or don't or don't read it. But this one, it was about a young lady named Trish and a young man named Chill. They had like a one night stand and didn't know each other, end up having a baby. And he doesn't they don't see each other, but he sees his baby and he has a lot of money because I believe he'd be pushing weight. Yeah. And she ends up going to like a girls' weekend or something like that. And they basically run into each other and they link up. And yeah, that's all I can remember. I do think there is a second book to this, but I'm not going to read it because it was a cliffhanger, but I just was, yeah. I was like, I wasn't feeling this either. So after listening to Crushing on a Savage and On Chill with a Billionaire, I'm like, I'm not listening to Mad Cause She Ain't You by Yoshi and Disrespectfully Yours by Ronisha Pittman, because again, I wanted something that was not so harsh. Okay, I don't want to see nobody get shot. I don't want to deal with nobody doing no drugs, no selling no drugs. No. So, because of that, I stumbled upon a book that I saw at Barnes and Noble, and it was called Frenemy Fix Up. This is by Yara St. John, and this is a Harlequin romance book, and it was the first time I actually read a Harlequin romance novel, and when I tell you, I really did like it. This is about a young black girl. She owns a yoga studio. In comes a young black man where he has some problems with his, I believe, heart, and he has to kind of like, and she has to whip him in shape within 90 days so he can go back to work. His name is Colin. Her name is Shay. And things, progress and all of that. Really liked the story. It had some serious bits, but it still had that romance. And again, it was something that I was looking for. Okay. Also, this is a series, but you can read them like standalones. So the next book is coming out in August, and I do want to read about it because it's going to be about her like best friends. She has like three or four best friends, and they've known each other since high school. And yeah, so I do want to get that. Then after reading this, I read and picked up this Mickey Chambers Shakes It Up by Sharice Reed. This is about a young girl. She is a professor, and she has a heart problem, and her and she's always had it since she was like a teenager or something like that, and her family's always like worried about her. With her job, she is like a part-time professor or something like that, and she only has like one or two classes, and it's not enough money for the summer. So she's like, you know what, I think I'm gonna get a second job just to have a second income. And in comes a young man named Diego is running a bar that his deceased wife she owned, and it was like her dream, so he kept it going. Growing up, his mom was like really sick, and during college he had to drop out. And then his wife got sick, and because he was going to go back to school, but his wife got sick, so he had to take care of her. So after she passed, he was like, you know what, I want to go back to school, I want to get my degree. And that's what he does. But his professor is Mickey. And then Mickey ends up working for him at the bar. And he's kind of like, and they both are like, it's so weird because you're my professor, but you're my boss. And you see how it goes. It was really, really good. I really did enjoy this. I enjoyed this so much, you guys. I read this in a day and a half. And I read very, very slowly, but I just wanted to see what was going to happen. It was so cute, but it had like some serious bits to it. Of course, it had, some little scenes, okay? But it wasn't too, much, okay? Y'all know I've listened and read some books where them love scenes, well, look, they not love scenes. They just, where it can be a lot. But this one, it was, just the right amount. I said, I really did like this a lot. And I love the cover. It is so cute. I'm like, you know what? I'm still not done. I want to read some more romance. So I picked up Bet on It by Jody Laughter, I believe. And this is about a interracial relationship. The young man is a white man and woman is black. And it's a small town. This I like because it does talk about depression, some mental illness that, people deal with. It talks heavily on panic attacks. I didn't know the in and outs of, what brings on a panic attack and what it does to your body and things like that. Really did enjoy how she wrote about that. And the young girl, Ja Owens, I believe that's her name. And then the young man, his name is Walker. And she deals with panic attacks, and also she doesn't do well with crowds, kind of like socially awkward. In order for her to kind of get out of that, she goes to bingo like every like week or whatever. And it's a small town. Like when I say small, they got like a store, a church, the bingo hall is that small. So she goes to, bingo every week, and she befriends a older white woman. The older white woman, she like has a really bad fall, and she comes, into the bingo hall all bruised up, and she's like, what happened? She's like, oh, I fell, da 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 da. But my grandson is here to help me out for a couple of weeks. And in comes Walker, and she's immediately attracted by him, and they start talking, and one thing leads to another. And with his background, he also deals with panic attacks and has some, mental issues because his father was on drugs, and, his grandmother took care of him and things like that. So growing up, it was very, very hard for him, and they have that in common. So they both know how to, navigate it. They also have never been in a relationship where they, partner has dealt with the same issues when it does come to, mental illness and depression and things like that. This was so good, you guys. I really did enjoy this. And look, sometimes I forgot that Walker was a little white boy, okay? White boy with blue eyes, because he had a little bit of swag, okay? He was a little country boy, but he gave me Tommy from Power. Y'all watch Power? I never really watched Power like that because, I don't like to see women get killed and them scenes as much, but I did see bits and pieces of it. He gave you Tommy. If y'all watch Power, y'all know how Tommy was. he's real comfortable around us. Okay, he gave you that vibe. But this was such a good story. I loved everything about that. So these were the three books that I added to the list because I didn't listen to those two other books. I did pick up another book after reading this, and I haven't started it yet, but it's called The Accidental Pinup by Danielle Jackson. Never read her before, and this cover is so bomb. I also have the Kennedy Ryan books. Now, I haven't read either of these, and of course, I'm going to start with this one. So I'm thinking after I read this, I'm going to read this. I might wait a little while to read this because this just came out, and y'all know I don't like to read books when everyone else reads books. I don't know. It depends on how much I really like this, and I just want to hurry up and read this one. I have read, I would say, one or two short stories by Kennedy Ryan, and I really do like her writing. So yeah, and again, I'm on this romance kick. Yeah, guys, that is it when it comes to this video. Oh, if you guys have any recommendations, please, 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 please tell me, because when I tell you I am on a kick, y'all know how I get on my kicks, and it's kicking real hard. Okay, I've bought 4 books in the past week, okay, because I have just been on this ride of romance books. So yeah, guys, that's all I have for you, and I'll be back with more black books. Bye.